everybody, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite swimbait podcast, Scales and Tails, episode 189. This gentleman, it's been exactly 144 no, yeah, 144 episodes since he's been 100 145 episodes since he's been on last. October of 2022. If you guys are the OGs and listen to like the first 50 episodes, and you will have listened to this episode many, many moons ago. Mr. Curran, Lone Wolves on Instagram. You guys are probably more familiar with the Instagram username. We had talked about that prior to this. So Curran came on the episode came live October 31st, 2022, 3 years ago. Well, going on 3 years ago. It does not seem like that long ago. Absolutely insane that it's been that long ago. And I'm super hyped to have him back. Dude, or I guess reintroduce yourself for maybe the people if they hadn't heard that first episode. We're going to do a quick introduction, do the icebreakers, and then we've got a whole lot to unpack over the last 3 years for you guys. I'm super excited about. So, Curran, kind of relay out who you are, and then we're going to hit you with some icebreakers, man.
For sure, dude. My name's Curran Candage at Lone Wolves on Instagram. I am a barber in Portland, Maine. I own a barber shop. Been swim bait fishing for a long time, and I'm pretty stoked that my episode was the Halloween episode. There's not much more to know. Sometimes I catch big fish, a lot of times I don't, but here we are.
Heck yeah, dude. So, man, it's been a long time coming, I guess, if that's how you wanna look at it. We've both grown and
I
changed
can't
so
believe it's
much
been
since
that
then.
long.
I know, like I looked at it earlier, right before we started, and I knew it had been a little while, but I figured it was 2023. No, no, it's insane. It doesn't feel like I've been doing the podcast that long, let alone I've done that many episodes since I've talked to you. So I guess I guess that's a good thing if time doesn't feel like it's going by super fast, which is I don't know. I see it as a good thing. I get to talk to a bunch of people, get to make a lot of friends, get to reconnect with old friends, and that's what we're doing today. So, dude, we got the icebreakers. We all know the first question. I'm sure you do. I'm sure majority of the listeners do. We're gonna stop at the gas station. We're gonna go hit up a lake over there in the beautiful state of Maine. We got to stop somewhere. And this is kind of a little twist I added on when I was talking to JP. Where are we gonna stop? Like, what's the go-to stop for you? And what are we getting while we there? What are we getting while we're there before a trip or a day trip on the water?
All right, so number one going to be Cumberland Farms for sure. I don't know if you guys have those in Michigans, but they're everywhere up here. And I'm going to go with a really unpopular opinion right now and go yerba mate.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you've ever had one of those, but they're like basically this tea that's fueled with caffeine,
Yeah.
and they get you right pretty much.
Yeah, I know like
Any
Marshall and
flavor,
those
can't
guys
go
drink
wrong.
them. I've never had one though.
Oh,
I've had
okay.
like
All
the
right. You know
yerba,
what?
which I think is similar, but I've never had one of those ones.
Dude, that it's the same thing.
Okay.
I totally spaced Marshall, and him and I are kind of plutonic on that whole front.
Yeah.
So I should have thought that through, but I thought I was going to be like the only one that said Yerba on here.
I
How foolish of me.
I don't even know if we like I'm sure there's some gas stations up around here that carry them, but I don't think I've ever actually seen one like with my own eyes. Maybe like at like the grocery store, like the Walmart or the Meijer, but I don't know if I've ever seen one at a gas
Yeah.
station around here.
Do you guys have Hannaford or is it Food Lion?
We do not have either of those.
What? What's your grocery store?
We have Meijer, which is like an Ohio, Michigan thing.
Oh, okay. All right. I've never even seen one of those. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. We when we went to Massachusetts, maybe we'd seen one of those when we went to Massachusetts. I don't know. We were only in Massachusetts for like 36 hours, so I don't even remember what we saw.
For the
But
expo.
yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. So we'd
Yeah, that's all
probably see
Hannaford.
one of those over there.
Yeah, definitely like from here to Virginia, it's Hannaford. After Virginia, it's Food Lions, but they're
Hmm.
like all the same. They
Okay.
probably even own the one that uh is in your state. I mean,
Right,
it's
yeah.
like the same grocery store, but
Okay.
they do have yerba mate. Um, if Yerba wants to sponsor me, I am open and accepting applications. So
Heck yeah. Hopefully we
I'm
can get you in
down.
contact with hopefully the right people are listening to this and get in
He's
contact with
sick.
you, I should say. We don't have to do any legwork here. Hopefully they're coming to us. But for
Let's
the
go.
second question, Or I guess are you getting any like snacks, like any jerky or anything like that, or is it just the yerba?
Maybe a Cliff Bar,
Okay.
but I get so hyper focused when I'm on the water that uh, all I think about is fishing,
Mhm.
and I have a tough time eating.
Yeah.
So I'll go like 10, 12 hours without eating anything, and
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter. But
Yeah.
that's kind of like some psychoactive behavior, and people shouldn't do that. So
We fished for a while
get some
yesterday,
snacks.
and after a while, like I like spit something out, and I was like, oh my gosh, my mouth is so dry, and like it was like a cartoon. Like I drank some water, and it just like it just like dissipated in my
Dude,
mouth, and I'm like, oh my
water.
gosh, I need like three
That's
gallons of water right now.
I try to bring like as many waters as
Yeah.
I should drink in a day in my boat, and then by the end of it, like I've drank none of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, this is so bad.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have happened that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drink water, people.
Yes, 100%. And what's the go-to Cliff Bar flavor? What's the go-to you're going with?
Oh man, if I like the blueberry one, that one's pretty
Ooh.
good, but kind of hard to find. But otherwise, white macadamia nut is
My
like the
man.
OG
Yep,
go-to.
yep. I've never
That's
seen one
that's
of the
the one.
blueberry ones,
And
but the macadamia nut is very, very good. When I was eating Cliff Bars, I would always grab two of those, and I'd always have one on the way to the lake, and then I'd always stash one away for when the fishing got really tough, and I had to sit down and scroll through my phone for a couple minutes to eat my Cliff Bar.
it's kind of nice, like that's like a quick snack, but then you can get right back to it. So I'm able to kind of like put my stuff down and maybe
Yeah,
consume some food and get back to it before I realize that I'm not fishing and missing opportunities. So
yeah, yeah.
that's a good one.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, one of the best flavors. I'd be interested to see that blueberry one because I think that'd be pretty good. But the second question is a little
It's all
more
right.
right, right. The second question is as you guys know is curated a little more to the guest on who I'm talking with. So, Curran is a barber. He does own a barber shop. If you guys missed that, he did mention that earlier and we do talk about that in the first episode. So, my question to you, man, is like is it frequent like or does it happen frequently where somebody comes in and like I'm sure you've seen the memes where it's like when my barber f's up my shit like do you have guys who come to you and are like you're like the last chance like dude like please fix my head of hair like I don't want to go bald my last guy messed it up like is that something that happens to you or has ever happened to you?
Dude, of course. Absolutely. Like all the time. I mean, so this summer, I think I have a solid like two or 300 people that are in my rotation, and I haven't been taking new clients since a couple months ago. But when I was, which was the last couple years,
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, I would say at least like 15-20% of those people had
Oh,
gotten burned, and it was just a fix up. I mean,
wow.
you only pay for the expensive haircut after you've gotten the
Yeah.
worst haircut,
Mm-hmm.
which like anybody that throws swim baits knows they want to get bit by the right fish the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's totally comparable. I mean, you spend the money the first time, you do it the right way, you buy the right rod, the right line, the right reel, all
Mm-hmm.
that, and you have nothing but success.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go the cheap route and you're breaking stuff and you're losing fish
Yeah.
and you're getting bad haircuts.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's probably the first time I've ever been able to compare barbering to fishing, but I think it worked.
Dude, I like I say recently or I say started, but I started going to a like a nicer barber shop within the last year or so and like I let my hair grow out a little bit and then I go to my girl Ange and she gets me all cut up right and I'm like, yeah, I it's cheap. It's like, $35 and I usually throw like a $25 tip because I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, it's so nice to be able to go somewhere that's not a quick cuts or a great clips or something and them just hack my all my hair off or hack all my hair away and just send me out the door and
Dude,
not care if I ever come back again." Picture this, the sun rising over the mountains, your line gets tight, and the fight of a lifetime begins. Welcome to Lake Bacharach Lodge, Mexico's premier largemouth bass fishing lodge. Nestled in the heart of the Sierra Madre Mountains, Lake Bacharach Lodge offers world-class fishing, luxury accommodations, first-class hospitality, and expert guides who know where the grandes live. Whether you're chasing giants or kicking back after a day on the water with a frosty, cold, bottomless margarita, we've got you covered. Home to some of the biggest bass in the world, Lake Bacharach is truly an angler's paradise. Don't miss your shot at the bass of a lifetime. Book your trip now at www.lakebacharachlodge.com or call 806-316-8382 today. Lake Bacharach Lodge, truly the best in bass. If you're listening to this podcast, it's safe to assume you're tossing big baits for trophy bass. You already know that treble hook changes are part of the game, but they don't always have to be a pain in the butt to do. Toit split ring pliers are hands down the easiest way to swap out treble hooks, especially on those beefy swim baits we all love. No more slipping, no more fighting your gear, just smooth, secure hook changes every time. Available in 3 fixed sizes in a full kit with interchangeable jaws that safely open up any size split ring. Toyota doesn't stop there. They offer a full lineup of precision tools designed with anglers in mind, including long and short nose pliers, scissors that cut cleanly on limp braid, and wire forming tools perfect for rigging those soft baits. So up your game with Toy, because when you're chasing giants, every detail matters. Check them out at toyfishing.com and be sure to use code SNT15 for 15% off your order. Again, that's toyfishing.com, TOIT fishing.com. And again, SNT15 for 15% off your order.
Just go see a small business
Yeah.
and you'll be good.
Yep.
Pretty much.
100%.
That's the way it is. I mean, like anybody that's watching this supports small business and supports local, like everything. I mean, if you are not going to a small business over a chain, then you're doing it wrong. So, but definitely, I mean, the coolest thing about my job is that we get to see every walk of life. I mean, we have some wild conversations every day, and at the same time, you'll have someone that's in the DEA. You might have someone that's on the other end of that, and they're in the same place, and they coexist. So, I mean, you get it's a wild job, but I mean, to interact with every walk of life is a cool opportunity, and I have some interesting conversations every single day, and I'm super grateful for that. So.
Have you gotten any of your clients into swim bait fishing, or is there any guys who swim bait fish that you cut their hair for, like local to you or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely, dude. I mean,
That's cool.
I've definitely had some people into bass fishing. I actually had some people that listened to the podcast
That's
that
cool.
sat down in my chair, and like everybody else that works for me, like their eyes rolled in the back of their head and they're like, "Here we go." But like, I mean, it's cool. Like you know, I disagree with gatekeeping to a certain extent, and I'm here to share knowledge that I've obtained through like trial and error and a lot of hardships
Yeah.
doing what I do. So, I mean, nothing but the best to those who have gotten into it. But same thing for me. When I cut my teeth in fishing, obviously my dad was a commercial fisherman. I talked about that in our first episode, but I wasn't that well versed in freshwater, and uh, I definitely learned a lot through a lot of my close friends, and I'm happy to give that information back and to make anybody's day better or make something less hard for someone. So,
Well, sweet, dude. Yeah, I guess we'll just get right into it. So we probably talked at like the beginning or middle of October of 2022, and so much stuff has happened since then. Going on 3 years here, this in a couple months actually, or maybe when somebody's listening to this down the road. So it's been 3 years. We talked before. A lot of stuff has changed. You've gotten some upgrades as far as kind of gear and kind of the stuff you have. So when we talked last time, you were fishing. Were you fishing out of the tracker, the red tracker?
yep, it was like, dude, it wasn't even red. Like that boat couldn't even afford a paint job. It was like a very old, I think it was like a 90
Mm,
tracker, maybe
mhm.
91. Um, but right before our podcast last time, just being careless, I smoked the lower unit on that. So I was boatless. Um, so that was Halloween ish.
Yeah.
So Veterans Day, I decided to take my kayak out. I also had a pedal kayak that I do not have now.
Mm,
It wasn't anything crazy, but took that out and absolutely like messed him up at this local hand load spot. I was throwing the Battle Shad 7.5 Great bait. If you guys don't have one, definitely try to get one. Can't tell you where because I wish I could get some more myself.
Soon,
But
soon, I've heard.
uh,
They'll be coming soon.
it was a great day. It was like prime time fall fishing,
Mm.
um, and I probably caught like I don't know 15, 20 fish on the Battle Shad 7.5, which was like so sick because that's a big bait. It doesn't happen like that very often. It was a good day.
And you get to set the hook
Um,
hard. You get to set the hook with some
Oh yeah,
angle.
so hard. Swing to the fences,
Yeah, yeah.
like just straight up, let's go. So I was very sore. I'm not used to kayaking. I am totally not adept to that lifestyle. To those that do, kudos to you because it's not for me. I sold my kayak. I'm in a boat now. Life is good. But I pedal back to my Tacoma, which Adrian also
Oh,
shares the love for Tacomas. But uh, there was like a 20-foot tree sitting on my Tacoma after a full
mm.
day of kayaking. So it was the only tree that fell. It was bluebird skies. Pretty crazy turn of events there. So I unload my boat and basically call the sheriff and like have to file this police report because this tree fell on my truck. And I was there till maybe like 11:30, 12 p.m. or 12 a.m.
Yeah.
Uh, just waiting for a record to come and haul my
Oh
truck
my
back
gosh.
to my house. Super defeating, but still a great day. Still caught those fish. It was cool. Um, and it didn't total it out. So
Wow.
it was good. It
Yeah.
was good, but pretty wild. So that was right after our podcast last time.
Mm.
But if I had skunked that day, it would have made it hurt so much worse.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't take the fish
I can
away.
I
Once
can
you caught
say
them, your day's set. Whatever happens, happens, but
my
at least
back
you caught those fish.
my back was so sore because I stand up for like 13 hours a
Hmm.
day, and I pulled up and I like rubbed my eyes. I couldn't even believe it that like I had heard of trees falling on cars
Hmm.
and just scrolling, and I'm like, oh, that's some stuff that would happen to me.
Yeah.
But then it did, and it hits way different when it actually happens to you.
Right.
But
Yeah.
um, overall, it was fine, and it got fixed by a local auto body shop, and life is good. And now I'm not even in that truck, so it's fine. But either way,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, a lot's happened since then. Um, I got some pretty cool opportunities. I ended up testing out the head case harness for Working Class Zero and Mike Gilbert uh, about a season before it came out and gave him some feedback on that.
Mm.
Caught a bunch of fish on that. Anybody that's fished the Citizen Six knows that it is a fish catcher, and you can basically do anything with that bait, and it's going to catch fish. Uh, Pretty hard not to,
Yeah.
It's any size. But tested that out, and also had the opportunity to get some of the standard issue lowdowns before those released from my friend Keith Wilson. So fished those for a little while before those came out, and great combo, by the way. If those are looking, the standard issues are definitely the juice. So pick one up. I think Ben has some available right now on his website. So Lowdown Customs, go check them out. Great rods. Um, so yeah, I mean, since then I've still just been kind of catching on the same stuff, but I'm in a new boat now. I'm in a after that kayaking experience, I
Yeah.
was pretty jaded and left high and dry. So instead of fixing that motor because it was such an old boat, I'd recently restored all the decking, all the carpet, but I was able to scrape some money up and sell that boat. And I got into a Ranger RT 178, same boat that Gilbert has, a bunch of dudes have around here. There's the 178, the 188, and the 198. So mine's the just about 18-foot version of it, but I found a screaming deal on that and kind of said see you later to issues for now. So I've been running that for 3 years now since that was 2022, and it's been solid, no issues yet.
Heck yeah, dude. Is that that's an aluminum boat, right? It's not a glass boat?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So Similar to the tracker style of
Yeah.
boats,
Yep.
just much newer. And instead of having riveted construction, it's all
Yeah.
welded,
Hmm.
which I'm not sure if I like more, I like less, but it seems to handle very good, and I haven't had any issues. So
Yeah.
I do know that 2020 was the last year that Ranger was its own entity.
Mm.
So after that, now it's owned by Bass Pro Shops. So
Yeah.
I got one of the last real Rangers that
Rangers. Yeah.
exists.
Yeah. I've been looking. Not that I'm gonna buy one anytime soon, but I've been looking at an aluminum boat. But I don't know. We have some big water up here, and being an aluminum boat, you're out there on like 2 foot rollers. You're gonna feel it the next day. So I'm up in the
Oh,
air on
Hersha.
what I want in the future, whether a glass or an aluminum boat. But I don't know. Whatever I get, I'll be happy with. But I have been looking at like those Expresses, those Rangers, the
Here,
older like trackers. Like I really like. If I can get like a 17-foot aluminum boat, I think that'd be like do everything I need it to. Because I don't go fish
those
big water all the time, so it's not like a huge deal to me.
you can fish big water with these boats too. I mean, the Express, like that platform,
Mm.
they seem to have it dialed. I mean,
Mhm.
like it
Yeah.
comes like with bedliner across the
Yep.
whole boat. You have the sea deck, all that. I mean, the fact that we still put carpet in boats is
It's crazy.
asinine. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy, dude. I mean, it's not a good idea. It's been done and done again, but the Express seems to be pretty legit.
Mhm.
But I mean, I found a screaming deal on that boat. It was a brokered boat through
Mm.
a marina around here. I bought it in the winter.
Mm.
For anyone that's not from the north, it's basically like motorcycle season. I mean, we get into summer and that price skyrockets,
Yeah.
and then around fall, winter, it drops way down. So you can kind of capitalize on January, February, March, and buy whatever you need to buy, and you'll get the best price you can get.
Yeah.
So I bought that boat with 5 hours on it for one
Oh,
quarter of the price that it would
wow.
cost that guy to actually get it. It was just some old man that didn't want his boat anymore. So,
That's insane. And it's nice
um,
too because
then I spent the rest of the money modifying the
yep.
boat to make it how I wanted
Yeah.
that I would have spent to make it new. So,
Yeah. That's exactly it. Like we're kind of lucky in that sense of having uh like a bi-yearly sale on boats essentially like that in the wintertime. And also if you buy it early enough in the winter, you buy it like December, January, February, you have, 2 to 3 months to scrape some money around, deck that boat out how you want, or make little changes if you want to rip out all the carpet and sea deck it, or put a new trolling motor, rewire new graphs or whatever else it may be. Like you have time to do that. You're not, springtime's not breathing down your neck. You have 2, 3 months, month and a half to get that stuff done, which in the sense doesn't sound like a lot, but if it's just a couple little projects, then you can really capitalize on that. And when your fishing starts to heat up, if it's not even good yet, you can still be on the water and not worry about, fishing out of a half-ass built boat that you have right now.
it is a lot when there's nothing else to do.
Yep.
So, I mean, personally, I don't ice fish at
Yeah.
all. I don't know if you do. I mean, I don't know if you can ice fish the
Oh
Great
yeah.
Lakes or
Yeah, we
not,
can.
but uh, because that water must be moving quite frequently. But
Mhm.
uh, I don't ice fish at all. I mean, the aspect of hunting and targeting bigger fish is why I fish altogether. So the winter time is a rough time for me, especially what we've experienced in the last couple of years up here. It's been a pretty hard winter.
Yeah.
So to just stop something that you're so passionate about is not ideal by any means, but it is an opportunistic time to work on whatever you need and get stuff done like swapping trolling motors or rewiring or recarpeting a boat. I mean, I've done all of that and I probably wouldn't do it again, but that's the best time of the year to do it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, it's
um,
always a pain in the butt to buckle down on a project that you're not actually going to be able to use for a couple months. Like when you buy a new rod or a new reel in the wintertime, being in the north, it's like, oh cool, I get to leave this on my desk for 2 months before I get to put any line on it, or actually put line on it in the wintertime to play with it and then rip all that line back off in the springtime to put new line on it. Like it's
exactly.
brutal. It's brutal for sure.
The the river that we're sitting on right now, it almost never freezes,
Mhm.
and uh, the currents almost always moving through here, and it stays open all year. You can legally fish here all year,
Mm,
but this last year it froze up for quite a while, and I've only seen that happen a few times in living here, and I've lived here for a long time. So
yeah,
um, it was definitely a hard winter, but I could totally see you in an Express or one of the smaller RTs like
yeah,
I have. I mean, I wanted the quality and the luxury of having a bigger boat, but uh, not the maintenance and dealing with like backing it in
yeah,
and all of that.
yeah.
I don't need that. I still want to be able to fish like all the skinny spots, all the
Mhm.
stuff where the dudes with glass boats aren't putting their boats.
Yeah,
Uh, that pretty much led me to buying that, and I'm glad I did
mhm,
because I heard Gilbert say once, like, when I hit my boat, oh shit, is there a hole in it?
yeah.
No. Okay, we're good.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much all you need to know.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about an aluminum boat delaminating either. That is a big fear of mine, fishing out of a glass boat or being out. We were
Oh my
fishing
gosh, me too. So
we
many
were
people
fishing in a
don't think about
huge,
that.
huge body of water yesterday, and you can look down and it's like 40, 50 foot of visibility, and you look down, you're seeing bottom, and all of a sudden it's just blue. You're just in a drop off, and it's just like, oh man, we're going 50 miles an hour right now, and if this rod locker just decided to delaminate, oh, we'd be so SOL.
That'd be it.
It's like it's not like a common thing, but it has happened to a couple friends of mine in one of their boats, and since that day, I've always just been like fishing shallow out of a fiberglass boat is my jam. But when we get out deep, sometimes I'm like, oh man, this could just be the day that it
I
just
mean,
decides to unbind and we could be screwed.
like there's definitely benefits to both, but I'll never own a glass boat just because I want to be able to not think about that aspect of
Yeah.
fishing. There's already so much going on, and even so many aspects to owning an aluminum boat that are crazy. I mean, like you have to deal with your electronics, you have to deal with battery drainage. Like
Mhm.
there's so much maintenance to boat ownership. So adding the fiberglass into that equation is just an extra entire mile on
Yeah.
top of that. Whereas aluminum, I mean, you have to think about none of that.
Yeah.
So still plenty to think about, but you can take that boat almost anywhere that a kayak or I won't say a paddleboard because that can get in way skinnier water than an aluminum boat, but you can take that places
Yeah.
where you probably shouldn't and still be all right at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
uh, I can't recommend it enough. I hope that you eventually get into an Express or a Ranger or one of those.
hmm Yeah. And then
Good
also
choices.
my thing is like I used to have a fiberglass bass boat way back in the day, and it was so old that it had been left out in the sun uncovered its whole life, and that gel
Have we
coat
talked
was
about that?
having a bass boat.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I didn't have it for very long, and I didn't use it very much, and it was crusty.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
The
a
gel coat's like all cracked out.
1981 Bayliner Cheetah. I think it was only like 16 foot with a Suzuki 85 on the back. Bought it for
A
400
Suzuki, too.
bucks. Yep.
Let's go.
Yep. Yeah, fished the
That's
heck
a
out of
good
that
one,
thing,
dude.
and yeah, yep, it worked. My dad and I, we tried to buff it out to try to get that gel coat clear, but it was a 40-year-old boat, like it wasn't coming clean, and all that carpet needed to be redone. It's like an Astro van with like shag carpet, like it needed to be redone. All the decking needed to be redone. Half the guy who owned it before me got like half the hatches redone, like welded aluminum, and the other half were still marine plywood, and like none of the speedometers or the
Oh,
gas gauges or
man.
anything worked. Like it was just none of the seats. Like I just ripped out all the seats and just sat on the wood decking. Like it was so far from being not even a decent boat because it was fine, but it was just so far from being my boat to like what I envisioned that it was like I don't know if I can take on a project like this. I think I was like freshly
Dude, good on you.
16. Yeah, I was like freshly 16.
That's
So I had it all the way up until COVID, and when COVID hit, I flipped it for 1,200, and whoever had it got a good project, and I don't even know where the heck it is now. I kind of knew the guy who bought it, but couldn't tell you where it's at now.
you made a smart decision because anybody that's had an older boat, uh, you think that it's worth the TLC to
Yep.
get it right, but I mean, unless you are very independently wealthy, it is a hard undertaking
Yep.
to repair an older boat. Restorations are definitely a super big deal. The tracker that I had It had a original Evan Root Johnson
Wow.
to the boat, two-stroke, and it ran totally fine. But when I came up on issues with that motor, I was very hard pressed to find someone to repower that boat
Mhm.
because the hull was so old. Granted, I had redone all of the carpet, all of the staging.
Yeah.
I had so many hours sunk into that boat. It was a labor of love, but at the end of the day, nobody wants to put a new motor on an old boat.
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening to this that's considering going new versus used, like there is a fine line between what's acceptable and what's not,
Mhm.
because you can get yourself into a hole really quick.
Yeah, and it's also
Um,
kind of like if people are in like the car community, like a modded 350Z does not sell just because it's got new suspension components and it's got nice shiny tires and wheels and stuff and it's got tint. That nobody's paying extra for that. They're just paying because it's a 350Z and they're not paying you anything what you have into that boat. Like nobody's buying it for the mod or nobody's paying for that in a car. They're just buying the car and they're going to rip it all apart and do their own stuff to it. So same thing with a boat. Like just because you have a John boat and you've put in 10 grand into it, and I mean, you might be able to find somebody to buy it, but it's somebody else is going to buy it and they're do their own thing with it. They're just buying it because they want the platform, not because they're going to keep everything 100%. And there's a good chance you're not getting your money's worth back
totally,
out of it unless it's a right-hand drive 240 SX from Japan. Like it's that car community stuff. That's like you're making it for yourself and you're not making it for
totally.
anybody else.
That's something I wish that someone told me a long time ago. I mean, like the modifications you do to a boat, like no matter what electronics, no matter what trolling motor, I mean, you can have scope on it, you can have a
Yeah.
Tarova, you can have a Ultrex, you can have the Force. It
Power
does not
poles,
matter. I mean,
anything.
what
Yeah.
you add on that boat, it's the hull and the motor and the stamp that's on it, and that's it. And nothing else is worth anything to anybody unless it's a very specific situation. So
Yeah.
if you sell at private sale, you can get that money back out of it, but it's very rare, especially where we live. Me and Adrian live where it snows for most of the year, especially lately. So uh, getting that money back out can be a pretty troublesome thing. So
Yeah.
if you're ready to buy, make sure it's a worthy investment. And honestly, I'd say just look into financing and buy something through a marina that you're going to have for a long time if
Mhm.
you're planning to enjoy it for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, you don't have to, but buying a bare boat is a lot better. I've been seeing, like when I see boats for sale, a lot of them have the price, and then if you want XYZ with the boat, it's this price per, which I think is the best way to do it because somebody might not want your Ultrex. They might want to put a Ghost on it. Somebody, you, I don't know why, but everybody, like nobody around here, some guys do, but a lot of people don't care for power poles. So that's just out of the question. If you're trying to get an extra 1,200 bucks because you have power poles on your boat, somebody's just going to tell you to take them off and keep them because they're never going to use them and they want $1,200 off.
well,
Like it's all sorts of stuff like that.
I mean, some people look at that as another point of failure, which
Yeah.
isn't really wrong. I mean, there are two hydraulic pumps on some
Yeah.
of those that come with the boat, so those can fail pretty often.
Hmm.
But I mean, sometimes dealing with my 18-foot aluminum boat, I really miss the days of just having the Coleman crawdad style boat
Yeah.
and just throwing it in the back of my truck and
Hmm.
going and not worrying about it. I mean, there's a lot to be said for that. So anybody that is shore pounding or thinking about making that jump to a boat, I think the best way to handle that is to start with something like that, whether it's a kayak or like a crawdad or the
Yeah.
Sun Dolphins or the Field and Streams. Those are all solid hulls and no maintenance. You slap a trolling motor on, you go. I still fish out of a lot of those all the time. I mean, we have so many spots that you can't load my
Yeah.
rig into here. And one of my like best friends, my friend Tucker, I mean, he's got a crawdad and we take that thing everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm just as apt to fish in that as my boat.
Hmm.
I'm a bit more sore at the end of the day, I'll have to admit, but uh, I mean, you can put it anywhere.
Hmm.
And I mean, worst case scenario, you hit your motor off a rock and that's it. It'll keep going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Those like it's kind of
surprised you
a
don't have one of those, dude.
right. It's kind of, well, I used to have a sun dolphin, so that's what I was gonna say. It's kind of a phenomenon in the New England area. like that whole northeast corner of the country. Like you guys have the crawdads, you guys have the sun dolphins. Like that's a big thing. Like California, Texas, they have the float tubes and stuff, and kind of the whole country's got the paddle boards. But the crawdads are like a New England thing. Like Sebastian up there in New
They
England,
are.
he's caught a gajillion fish, and he has decked out that Sun Dolphin 160. I think it's like the 160 SX. Like that is the same boat I had had. And when I like the first couple times I had seen his boat on Instagram and Facebook, I showed my dad, and my dad's like, "Oh my gosh, that thing is badass!" Like I couldn't even imagine
Was that
rigging.
the 8 foot?
Yeah, I think it's the 8 foot. I know he puts it in the bed of his
Yeah.
truck. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
like
So I had the 8 foot. I
so
had the
sick.
8 foot Sun Dolphin as well.
Yeah, it's a super cool platform.
That's a great haul, dude.
Yeah. Yep. My thing with
Take
that
him
is
anywhere.
my thing with that is it's like right on the border of being a pain on the butt because it's like a style. It's like kind of like a bass boat style. So I had a Honda 9.9 on the back of mine, and so I actually had
Oh
to buy a
man,
trailer. Like I had to buy like a little lawnmower trailer to actually like that's how I would take it because I wasn't gonna disconnect the pump or the gas.
that thing must have gone so fast.
Yeah, I think I clocked it doing like 26 the one day, just me and like two rods, and the live well was empty. Like for a
That boat
plastic
is
boat,
not
dude, that's
made
scooting. Yeah,
to
like
go that fast.
you're looking down at the transom and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like all plastic with a little bit of steel plating on it, and you're like, oh my gosh, this could like
That's crazy, dude.
it's hypocritical for me to say that after I just said I was scared of a fiberglass boat coming unlaminated. But at the time, I
Hey,
wasn't worried about
whatever.
any of that stuff. But yeah, like looking back on
Plastic's
it now,
plastic.
it's like 9.9 on a little 8 foot plastic boat is absolutely insane.
That's crazy, dude. That's that thing. Like, I mean, that's way overpowered for that
Yeah.
boat. But I mean, you can slap like you can buy one of those things, even like the really heavy old crawdads, and you could put
hmm
like a 55-pound thrust
Oh
trolling motor
yeah.
on it and go anywhere.
hmm And yeah,
So
you're
that's like
fishing
all
with
you need.
yeah, fishing with two guys. You got at the end of the day, you back your truck down, you pick it up, slide it in, unhook the trolling motor, and you're done. You can ratchet it down, and you're done. Like that's what you can do with
No
the Sun
doubt.
Dolphin too, if you don't have an outboard on it. Which, in theory, is probably what I should have done. But it was I. It's always a pain because I fish by myself like 99% of the time. So I could pick that thing up and load it in my truck, but I think it was like right around like
It sucks.
260 pounds. Yeah, it's doing that like a couple
It
times a
definitely will hurt your
weekend,
back.
you're tuckered out for sure.
But I mean, it's still less extensive. I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize when graduating from boat to boat that uh, those little nuances are like to be appreciated to the max.
hmm
I mean, right now, I'm like, you have to deal when you graduate from a kayak without a trailer or a
Yeah.
crawdad without a trailer, anything. You have to deal with trailer maintenance
Yep.
and boat maintenance,
hmm
and both of those things. I mean, I know I've heard you talk about the trailer and
Oh yeah.
how terrible the trailer is and how
Yep.
it's never been redesigned.
Yeah.
And that is the honest to God truth. I mean, wheel bearings have come a little bit, but it's kind of a nightmare. I
Yeah.
mean, you're taking a risk every time you put it on the road, and uh, not having that nuisance in your life is not to be taken for granted.
hmm
Even the smaller V-hull boats, like all of those are really great options. If you're getting off the shore and getting onto a boat, I'd highly recommend doing that before you invest in a Nitro Z21 or a Ranger or any of those. I
Yep.
mean, don't spend all your money and regret it.
hmm Yeah, it's there's something to be said about like the simplicity of a paddleboard or a kayak, like being able to throw it on your roof or in the bed of your truck, rationing it down or unblow or deflating your paddleboard. And like for the longest time up until last year, I was fishing my paddleboard out of a Ford Focus hatchback. Like I could just roll my board up, throw it in the trunk, and I could go anywhere I wanted and get 30 miles to the gallon. And now I get
That's what you were in
probably
before.
yeah, yep. I was in a Focus hatch for the longest time.
Oh man, upgrade.
Yo, yeah, yeah. So now I got a
That's
truck
sick.
that I could pull a boat if I wanted to, but I still just throw the paddleboard in there. I get like 12 miles to the gallon, but I can go anywhere I want. I don't have to worry about getting stuck in the car now, which is nice. And
You
eventually, maybe in the next year or so, I'll have a boat with it, and that'll kind of limit myself a little bit. I'll probably carry some extra wheel bearings and some extra leaf springs and some tools and stuff in the truck, but
As you should.
I'll be able to fish some bigger water and kind of have a little more options. And as always, I can always throw my paddleboard in the bed of the truck and go fish somewhere if I want to. So it's always like, yeah, you can upgrade, but again, if you wanted to buy a $150 kayak, if you absolutely had the itch to go fish out of a kayak again, you could. It's not like you're selling your boat, going back to a kayak and saying, "Oh man, I should go out and buy another boat." Like it's a little bit easier to access the lower end of the spectrum as with most things. Like you can always get that nostalgic feeling back for a little bit of a price rather than downgrading from a boat and
No
trying to
doubt.
upgrade again down the road.
So do you have a 6 foot bed, or do you have the 5.5
I have a six
on your
foot bed.
truck?
Yep.
My man, that's good. That's like a lot of equity in your truck too.
Yeah.
But not only that, I mean, you can fit so much more in there. And I mean, any of those 8 foot boats, you can just lift the tailgate up,
Yeah.
so you don't even have to hang a flag off of them. Or I mean, state laws differ, but most states say that you have to like mark
Yeah.
if you're hanging anything off your tailgate when it's folded down. So
hmm
that's a good
And
truck. That's
and
a good
I've
one.
I've got the full cab, and I ripped out my seats and I built a deck back there, so I
What?
can put, yeah,
You
I
have the
ripped my,
four door crew cab?
yep, four-door crew cab
Oh
long
man,
box.
that's sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is hard to come by, my
Yeah.
friend.
And in spruce mica.
That's
Spruce
a good
mica is a
truck.
pretty hard color to find too if you're not familiar with that. So
It
I
is,
lucked
yeah.
out with that. But yeah, I've pretty much built it out to everything I need. I can go camp and fish off my paddleboard and have not a worry in the world. Not ripping out the back seat was a really good idea because I can put like everything in the back, and then all the camping stuff can be on the bed, and the dog can still be in the back seat too. So it's been a blessing. And when I get a boat, or yeah, when I get a boat, ideally like a 16 7-footer, or 16 or 17-footer, I'll just back it into the campsite and I'll keep all my rods and all my tackle in there, and that'll give the dog the whole back seat in the back. So it's just
No
kind of like
doubt.
slowly tuning everything into exactly where I need it, kind of with the truck now and the paddleboard and kind of the layout we're going with, and it's been working out really good. So like I said, hopefully in the next year or so we can introduce a boat to the mix up, and that'll be a nice
Tacomas,
addition.
they haul really well too.
Mm,
Um, it, even any aluminum boat. I
yeah.
mean, you're pretty much squared away with a Tacoma.
Yeah.
Um, I'm in a Tundra now, but it's almost overkill
Mm,
for what I have.
yeah.
So, um, what was I gonna say? So, uh, couple of crazy things that happened to me since the last podcast.
Yes.
Those people that know me know that I don't share very much on Universe. I have a bunch of good fish catches, but they're kind of quiet. And the one that I did post was non-substantial. Uh, I don't even think I weighed the fish. It was probably 4, somewhere around there. But I caught a fish last year at one of the ponds I fished on the UFO abductor. This bait right here. Um, this is a trout pattern from Realist, but so I hooked the fish and got it up to the boat, and there was a fish following that fish right behind it, about the same size, maybe 3.5, 4 pounds, nothing crazy. But I thought in my head, wouldn't it be crazy if I just stuck my net down when I went to net the other one and scooped that fish up? And I actually freehand netted that fish onto my boat at the same time. So a 2 for 1, but one wasn't hooked. Um, Only time that's ever happened to me. Pretty crazy experience. Uh, just wild.
Yeah.
So I get home and I'm unloading my boat, and that's kind of a chore where I live. Like I have to park it like pretty far away.
Yeah.
So I'm getting unhitched, and anybody that is in New England knows that there's a lot of birds around here. So ton of birds everywhere. And one of the most metal things that nature does is if a robin or any bird can't feed their young, they'll push them out of the nest. They'll just
Mm,
push one out of their nest. So I didn't know about this until I ask someone who was well versed why this was happening. But uh, every once in a while, I would say probably 2 to 3 times a year, I'll find these perfect stillborn baby birds, like featherless,
Yeah.
in my driveway. It's crazy, and the fact that another animal doesn't get to them because I live in the water is nuts. But I picked this bird up midway through unhitching my boat, and I walked to the river so I could at least toss it in there and then have something else eat it. And I thought to myself, it would be crazy, especially since I doubled up on that glide bite,
Yeah.
if I threw this into the river right now and a smallie came up and ate it, because that's about what's here.
Hmm.
And I tossed this baby bird in the river, and probably a 2.5 pound smallmouth comes up and just slurps it right off the top of the water instantly. It was wild, dude. Like, I thought about like maybe setting my phone up to film it, but the chances are so slim that I didn't do it, and I regret
Right.
it every day.
That'd
It
be
was
so
wild.
sweet.
That fish probably only wants to eat birds for the rest of its life.
Yeah. Dude, you should have like
It's
hurry up
like,
and grab something out of the truck and thrown like I don't even know. You know what you need to do? You need to get that little defiant crawler duck thing that they just dropped, and you need to start fishing that right there around that time of season.
I mean, how do you imitate a featherless, lifeless bird? I mean, that would be kind of wild. Uh,
Dude, it might
it's
just
like
be like if that happened, like I would assume like it would, you would probably get bites when it hit the water, like when it hit the water and you just let it float back.
definitely. It was like right now it was like slack water.
Mm,
I thought to myself, because of that, this would be the time when it was going to get bit,
yeah,
because there's never anything there like
right.
right in my backyard. But it did happen right then. It absolutely crazy. Um, I mean, I do have a couple crawlers, but I'm just not. I don't know if you're a crawler guy, but everyone else in New England is,
Yeah.
and I am just not a crawler guy.
They're cool. I like the concept. I fish I think that they're calling it the G&G crawler now. I fish the Gur crawler. I like it, dude. It casts like a
Yeah, I
bullet.
think I have one.
It casts so freaking far. That's why I like a crawler because you can cast it far, and I like it for night fishing too because you hear the bloop 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 bloop.
Yeah, for night fishing, that's when it really
Yeah.
excels. I've got this one. Oh, it's not the Gur
Oh,
one. It's a Sherpa.
yeah, the Sherpa one. Yeah, that's another sweet one.
I fished it. I've never gotten bit on it, but my until I do, my confidence is rather low
Yeah,
in
dude, it's
crawlers.
they're super cool. And for some reason up there, they like I can't say they work extremely well in New England outside of
They
anywhere
do.
else in the country. But guys fish the snot out of them, and so I think that's why you see so many big fish getting caught on them. And all you guys out there are bred for night fishing for whatever reason, so guys are always fishing them and always catching fish on them. It's a fun bait. I've caught a couple fish. Like I thought I was in New England last year because I was catching fish at the beginning of April on my crawler, and I was
On
like,
a
oh my
wake.
gosh, like. I feel like these,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
All right.
I feel like the guys out in New England. I caught a couple, nothing too big or nothing too crazy. I think I caught like maybe half a dozen, 7 or 8 fish on the crawler, but it was beginning of April, like it had just thawed out a couple weeks beforehand, and like,
It's
oh my
pretty good.
gosh, I feel like I'm uh, I'm like letting out my inner New Englander, and so that was the most like success I've had on the crawler. Like I personally will fish a rat bait over a crawler for whatever reason. I think it's just a little more subtle and a little more
Same.
natural.
Same. And it's easier to imitate that prey. Like
Yeah.
when I fish a crawler, I'm not really sure what the fuck I am.
Yep. Yeah. Do I
Like,
stop it? Do I
it's
reel it the
am I
full
a
time?
bird?
Yeah.
Am I a rat? Like I'm not really sure. But uh one one thing that I have had a debate on recently that I want your opinion on. So I was talking to one of my friends that I fish with, which is a pretty small circle, and he disagreed with me on the fact that largemouth become conditioned to certain presentations. And I know there are like ample studies looking back to largemouth having the same memory retention as a dog or something of the sort.
Hmm.
But I'm under the belief that when you present a lure to a fish and it has a negative experience time after time, it's not going to eat that lure, which is why our fish grow to be the size that they are.
Yeah.
Uh, but the person I was speaking with was saying that he thinks that that's too much credibility
Mm.
and largemouth aren't retaining that information. Granted, I do think that that's really circumstantial,
Yeah.
and a lot of the studies that have been done on that are in retention ponds, so that's not
Hmm.
translating.
Yeah.
But I think that a fish can only bite a black senko so many times before it doesn't do it again,
Yep.
and that's what makes it in our area 7 or 8 pounds.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think so. I'll give you my thoughts and I'll give you my unscientific reasoning. I'm gonna back it up with. I think that you can catch around here. Everybody drop shots. Everybody drop shots to Lake Michigan pier heads. Like 2015 to like 2017, it was pretty low key. Like you could go out and you could smash a bunch of 5 pound smallmouth doing that. And now it is a grind fest. I watch the tournament guys when I'm on the pier heads fishing my swim baits. They're out there trying to scope these fish and they are hardly ever catching them. So I think you can catch a fish. We'll use a K9. I think you can catch the same fish on a K9 over the course of like 3 or 4 years. You can catch it 2, 3 times, and it'll continue to eat the K9. But I think if you're in a small like the retention pond, if you're in a small area like that, and you continuously show that fish and catch that fish on one thing, and and it can like I don't know. I guess I don't know if bass have like a memory like you had said. I don't know if they have a memory, but I
They
feel like
do.
if you catch that fish 2 or 3 times in the span of 2 weeks on a black senko or a red robo or a pink robo worm or whatever else it may be, then I think they can start to associate it with like, oh, this thing is like not good. Get the heck away from this thing. Where like if you fish a laydown every 2 or 3 days out on a lake or a river and you're fishing it with a Pink Lemonade Metro, like that fish is gonna see that thing and it's gonna back into the log jam a little bit deeper because it knows what the hell it is because it's been caught 2 times already that week. Like, I think you see it the same with tournaments. Like when there's big tournaments on these like smaller lakes, like locally, they run a lot of tournaments. There's a little lake that isn't even that good. They had a tournament yesterday morning, a tournament this morning, a tournament tomorrow night, a tournament Tuesday morning, and then a kids tournament Wednesday night. And this is a lake that usually will take like 11 or 12 pounds to win for the best 5 fish. And I guarantee by Wednesday night when those poor kids are fishing it, if somebody brings in 5 fish, they'll probably win the tournament. Like that's like the definition of the fishing shutting off because the fish know something is up. Like the boat traffic is super high. There is a gajillion people keeping 5 fish every boat. If there's a 15 boat tournament out there, like that's a lot of fish in a small body of water to be caught over the course of a
Absolutely.
week. Like those fish, I think definitely know stuff is up around that time.
I think fish conditioning and them having a memory retention we don't give them credit for is absolutely viable.
Yeah.
And I mean, you follow BASS, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, one of my good friends and one of my clients is one of the people that films for Bassmaster.
Oh, no
He's
way, really?
awesome. Boy, I could talk to him all day. Uh, but
Next time he comes in, you'll have to ask if he knows Brian Everly because Brian, one of the guys up here, actually, one of the guys I talked to, he is also a filmer for Bass, which is funny.
Oh,
Funny
he
you say
definitely
that.
does then, because there's not many people that
Nope.
do that job.
No,
Um, I met him randomly through client interaction,
that's so
and
cool.
like somehow we like he thought that he was gonna tell me his job, and I was gonna think it was lame.
Yeah,
And as we dug deeper, we just became so close, and
that's
I
so
fished with
sweet.
him several times now. Um, but I mean, I'm sure he's on the same wavelength with me. I think that we do not give fish enough credit,
Hmm.
and I mean to make it to the 6 to 8 pound mark in our area. I mean, obviously, you have made it to be that big because you're conditioned to not eating the same bait over and over. And you have negative experiences.
Hmm.
And that's not to say that some fish will eat a 6-inch Yamamoto over and over, and they just don't have the intelligence, just like humans.
Right.
And I think that we just don't give them enough credit.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's a debate I've been having over and over with people. I mean, if one person hammers one spot with the same bait that I'm going to use the next day, it's not going to eat that bait the same way.
Yeah.
And I think that's just common knowledge.
Or or even that fish will be very skittish. Maybe that it won't eat, like it may eat on a bomb cast, but the second the second there's an off-putting thing with that, like it sees the boat or it sees your we were fishing super clear water yesterday, and when you made a cast and you started working a bait, you could see 20 foot down, you could see the shadows of the ripples in your line. And I'm like, there's no
Right.
way if I'm running across a 6 pound smallmouth that somebody caught 2 days ago, like there's no way they're gonna see my Godzilla goby down there and they're gonna like they're kind of positioned up. So they're not gonna see this bait fall down and then see shadows around this thing after just sploosh just happened right above them and think, oh, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm gonna go eat it. Like it's I don't know. I
And
think I think that it definitely makes sense because I've seen fish behavior like that before.
even with live scope, like I know I've heard Gilbert talk about the effects
Oh
of the
yeah.
ping and the
Yeah.
transducer off a fish, and I've definitely seen that. I can tell you, I have not caught one single fish over 6 pounds in our waters with my transducer even on.
Mm,
I mean, like I'll get frustrated with it and I'll catch some fours and catch some fives and be satisfied and I'll try to use it. But the second I shut that off and I just go fish how I want to fish, then I catch big fish.
right. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, but sometimes reducing yourself to the basics is the way to fish. Um, and I really do think that the more we train fish and the more people that are enthusiasts and are throwing the same things that we throw, the less likely we are to get bit.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, it's a growing sport. It's bound to happen inevitably. The technology is there. I know Lowrance just released a setup that now you can get into scope for $1,000. So
Wow.
it's a live transducer, a screen, and no black box
Mm,
for $1,000. So I'm assuming it's similar to Panoptics,
yeah.
but that really is the next stage, and pretty soon everyone's going to have it. So all these fish are going to be running.
Yeah. Yeah. I would not be surprised if you started seeing like kayak guys who don't have crazy decked out kayaks, which probably is a smaller number than people who do have a bunch of decked out kayaks. But I wouldn't be surprised if you started seeing some of these kayak tournaments like kicking out like super big fish because it's like minimalistic. It's a small profile. It doesn't, if they have a sonar, maybe it's only like an HDS 7. It's just kind of side imaging. Like those fish are so conditioned to that they probably don't even worry. They're not getting directly pinged by it. Like I could see guys starting to realize, oh man, I'm gonna have to they're gonna either have to roll out with like a minimalistic ping deucer, or you're just gonna have to start turning it off and just kind of start fishing blind or deep. Or I don't know what kind of ping the Hummingbird 360 has, but I know guys like that sometimes over the normal Panoptics forward facing sonar. But I don't know. I'm intrigued. Like I've talked about it before. In the next like 5 years, I'm intrigued to see what the fish do and what the market does to keep up with the demand of a growing technology drive, and then also trying to play off fish behavior with said technology.
I mean, it's definitely not going anywhere uh, because of funding and the fact that I mean every sport is relatable, and the fact that new technology comes out and the last wave is phased out
Mhm.
and the new phase
Yeah.
is phased in. It's not going anywhere. I mean, there's way too much paid sponsorship and funding to get rid of that technology. But I do think that people are going to start to get the hang on instead of just like uh, targeting one single fish and following that fish around. I'm really not a fan of that.
Hmm.
I think that that's really comparable to bed
Yeah.
fishing. And although, I mean, if that's how you're going to catch fish, I don't disrespect that. And I think that everybody has the right to do that. There is some sort of lesser gratuity to catching a fish that way
Yeah.
than the way that I would use scope would be to find a log that I didn't know about in 12 feet and then present my lure to that bass
Yeah.
that's on that log that I can't see
Hmm.
in a different way. I think that that is the best purpose for that sonar. Um, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm sure some baits or some states are going to go back and ban that, and there's going to be a lot of backlash. But it'll take a long time for that to come out.
Yeah. I think I talked about it in an episode where I was talking about that Kevin Van Dam hydro wave thing that they came out with a couple
Oh,
years
the
back.
hydro wave, yeah, dude,
I
yeah,
would
that's.
not be
I just saw
surprised
someone posting about the hydro wave the other day, and he
if,
was like, "Do you think I should get it?" And I was like, "Man, you are late to the bus."
yeah, I don't know if it works, if it doesn't work, if it's gimmicky, whatever, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is just the slightest bit of somehow that working, I wouldn't I think that the companies would start rolling that out into the forward-facing sonar, the deucer click, instead of it being like a unnatural click. If there is some
It's got to be the
scientific
same.
natural click, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't understand how they
There's no
market
way.
that. Yeah, like how it puts off
Dude,
some
there is no
frequency.
way. Like that. I mean, the fact that people didn't latch onto that and it's not something everybody has in their boat
Yeah.
tells me that that is a gimmick.
I want to
It
see how
has to
much
be.
these cost anymore.
I
KVD.
mean, TH Marine has done some really good things. Their jack plates are awesome. Like
Oh.
they've done some really great products, but that product, like the same commercial from when you
Yo,
and I
yeah.
were four
Yep.
years old, is still on the TV, and it is corny as hell. Let
Dude,
me tell you.
do you know how much they cost?
What's the base model? Hydro Wave.
Uh, I think there's only one. I don't know. This is just the Hydro Wave Kevin
It's
Van Dam
TH Marine,
edition.
right?
Yep, yep. Fish feeding stimulator.
That's the only addition. He is the Hydro Wave. That is
Okay.
it. Jonathan has nothing to do with it.
Okay. How much do you think? It's
I'm
on
gonna
sale right
guess.
now. So I'll let you get
I'm gonna
a
guess
full
eight hundred
price,
dollars on sale.
800.
On sale.
You think it's $800 on sale?
On sale.
It retails for 600 and it's marked down to 500 right now.
All right. Well,
That's
that
still
still
way more
seems like a bad
expensive.
deal.
Yeah. That is
I don't know, dude. Like, uh, so
dude, they make a catfish
one of
edition.
my so one of my best friends is my dentist, and he's the reason I have all kinds of gold teeth because he just is a cool dude and needs good haircuts. But so the owner of Livingston Lures
Hmm.
is a dentist.
Mm.
So he got connected to Livingston through dental practices,
Hmm.
and he got me like a bunch of these like random Livingstons, and they all have this like chip in them,
Oh,
and
yep.
when you put a Livingston in water, it makes that like
Yeah.
hydro wave noise. And let me tell you, I really don't think it makes a difference.
Yeah. I
But
don't.
I think fish, I think fish are less likely to bite something that is making an unnatural noise that sounds like. I mean, that would be like if you played a recording of something you wanted
Hmm.
in the general public and expected it to sell faster than something else.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gimmicky, but it's scary that people Mm, it's scary that they're still selling for 500 bucks, I guess. I don't know if you just heard me, but there is a catfish one. You can call in the catfish with one of their hydro waves I had just seen.
Dude, those flathead and blue catfish dudes, they're crazy though. They'd buy that.
It was only 360 if anybody was wondering, so a little bit cheaper because Kevin's name's not not tied up to it. But dude,
Doesn't JVD live up in the Great Lakes or
yeah,
something?
yep. Kevin lives south of me, and then Jonathan does too. But yeah, I know their general area of where they live and where they fish and stuff. They come up here
Wait,
in
JVD
quite.
lives in he lives up that way too?
Yeah, yep. And then Zona lives around here too.
Oh, okay. All right, but now there's the BTL guy is not even that guy anymore. It's not Mark Zona. It's
No, uh,
different.
yeah, I don't even know who it is, but Zona still does his fishing show. Zona was actually up here, I think last week fishing. Zona and Kevin frequently visit my lake that I fish at, and the lake's not good anymore, but I think they still come up here just because it's a lake they know and it's
It's
got
worth it.
decent fish, but it's not as good as it used to be like when they first started coming up here in like 2010, I'm sure.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's it's got to be wild up there, man. I mean, like Maine is weird. I mean, I know you guys have primarily very clear water,
Hmm. Yeah.
and that's where I excel, and that's where a lot of techniques excel is in
Mhm.
clear water. But for every clear water spot I have, there's one that you can't see 3 feet in.
Mm. Mm-mm.
And
Oh,
I feel like
thanks.
a lot of New England, a lot of Massachusetts, a lot of New Hampshire, it's that way. Like some
Yeah.
spots will be gin clear, especially when you get to spring fed spots. Spring fed spots are always like gin clear. Any mountain runoff, very clear. Whereas like any like pond status is going to be like super tannic.
Mm.
You can't see anything. So I do think that gives us New England guys an advantage because we learn how to fish every setting
Yeah.
and have a bait for every occasion. But
Right. Yeah, it's
it's,
uh,
are there any like tannic spots you
oh
fish,
yeah.
or are
Yeah,
they
we fished.
all like gin clear?
No, we fished like two or three Tannic spots within the last month, and it was out of my element. Caught a couple fish. Caught like a My buddy caught like a 5, 6 out of the one, but it
That's
was
pretty
just
good.
it was weird. We don't really know the lakes that well, and we've caught all the fish we have caught have been flipping docks with glides. Like he's been fishing that clickbait WRK, and I've been fishing the K9 and the Metro and stuff. So like we're figuring it out, but dude, give me clear water any day of the week and I'll figure it out. Dirty water is a little intimidating. Not that I can't figure it out, but it's a lot more guesswork in what I'm doing, how the bait's being presented and that sort of thing. And if I'm presenting it too fast, like if it's just ripping past these fish and they don't have any time to come up and eat it or whatever else it may be. So it's been interesting going to these
Who
new
knows?
lakes and kind of figuring them out and kind of tuning in the fish and kind of how you have to work your bait.
Do you have Kyle's soft bait?
No, no, I do not.
Damn, that sucks. That thing looks sick.
Yeah,
That's definitely
I
going to
like
be
the
a
options
catcher.
of it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited for him to release that. I'd love to get my hands on one.
Yeah, I think people are
Um,
gonna like it.
One thing I do want to talk about is my son was lucky enough to catch his first swim bait fish this year.
That is so cool.
If anybody is an old head enough to have listened to the old podcast that we did together, my son has a quick cameo on there, but he's been fishing. He's been throwing a bait caster since he was like pretty much a baby.
Yeah.
But one of my very close friends, Tucker. Anybody that doesn't follow him, his Instagram is T Briggs something. I should
Mhm.
really have nailed that down for
T
this
Briggs
podcast.
6,
Um,
maybe? Does 6 sound right?
yeah, yep, that's
Yeah,
him.
okay, that's what I
Yep.
thought.
Okay, there you go. Um, he's a great guy, and he hooked my son up with his first swim bait setup, and uh, this year he finally kind of grew into it
Mm.
and decided he was ready to pick it up. So he dead sticked one of my 6-inch UFOs and got smashed by a smallmouth,
Oh, it's so
and it was
cool.
his first swim bait fish. So that was a very sick moment for me. Um, so now he's into like all the glide baits,
Mm.
and I can see myself shining through to his stuff. But hoping to get him on some more and maybe stop wanting to recreate Ben Milliken videos.
If anybody doesn't remember those, that seems like a long time ago when he was making those videos.
Oh, for the longest time, my son watched one of those, and he only fished. Well, he had a pretty sick swim bait setup with an Ozark Trail 8-pound Tasmano spinning rod,
Yeah.
and that pretty much killed me.
Oh man.
But needless to say, so my friend Tucker, he hooked him up with Toxic Glide, one of the mini jukes,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then a Tatula 200, and he's got a Quirkus, and he's got an iRod Genesis 3, I
Mm.
want to say.
Hmm.
But he's caught fish. He hasn't thrown the Quirkus yet, but he's about to go catch him. And I've gotten the opportunity to be in the boat with my friend Tucker. Uh, he's caught 7.5, I want to say,
Mm.
in our state, and I got to net that fish.
Oh,
And
that's
then he
cool.
recently got a 7.11.
Yeah, I
So
think I
those are
remember seeing the
giants for me.
7-Eleven. Yeah. You need to get the little man one of these guys, one of these little Gracely Shats.
Gracies. Oh,
He'd
dude.
he'd
See, I want a
probably
Gracie.
hammer
I would
them.
definitely fish that.
It's
Like,
they're fun
he
baits.
has he the top water. That's the best way to get a
Yep.
kid into fishing. Anybody
Yeah.
that's not doing that, that is the way, because he's outfished me a number of times now on the 6-inch UFO.
Mm.
I mean, shout out to Eric, because Eric's taken good care of me and my family, and provided him with all the baits. But I mean, those baits, you cast them out and you let them sit there and they
Yeah.
get smashed. So
That's sweet.
even the ship, even the mothership.
Dude, that thing's such a unit. The paint job on that is so sweet. I love the black, the bluegill spec on it. That's so
This is one of the first batch of the crankdowns that he ever made.
mm,
This thing probably goes 7 to 8, I would
dude.
say.
That thing has
But
got to thump the rod
dude, it will hurt
like
your
nobody's
shoulder for
business.
sure.
Yeah.
I usually throw that on the extra heavy from
Mm,
lowdown, but after a day of doing it all day, you will feel it. And I mean, I use my arms and my shoulders all day, every
right.
day, so it's kind of amplified. But
Oh man.
even the 6-inch, I mean, the 6-inch is, in my opinion, excuse me, the best way to get bit. I mean, either lipless
Hmm.
or lip in. I mean, both these are like the easiest way to catch swim bait fish.
Yeah.
If you're not fishing UFO, then you need to get on it.
Mm. Yeah, that 6-inch lipless one, I think I'd seen a video of it recently, and oh my gosh, it looks so I've really come around to lipless topwater
Can you even
baits
see
because they
that?
like just come under the water and just move so much water.
So I was kind of confused before I got a lipless. My good friend Sam, he actually gifted me that bait. Um, and he's a huge reason I'm into swim bait fishing altogether. But uh, I asked him what situations that would excel in, and basically open water or any hesitant fish,
Hmm.
the lipless will get bites over a billed wake.
Mm.
So anytime that you're getting short strikes or the fish are tight-lipped, that's a good situation to throw a lipless. Any other time, the my favorite bait of all time, um, and probably the most fish I've ever caught out of any bait ever, is the fat wake from UFO. This is different from the 6-inch wake, the standard wake. To be honest, I don't know if he has the mold for him anymore,
Oh,
but
crappie.
this wake, like it's a little thicker
Yeah.
profile than the 6 inch UFO, but the way that it makes sound is crazy, dude. Um, if anybody follows S Beats on Instagram, which
Mhm.
is one of Eric's good friends from UFO, he catches a lot of fish on that bait, and it's proven.
Mm. Yeah, dude. Uh, the lipless wake bait is something that I want to try to fish more. I might have one. I don't know, but it's something that like you said, it's just a little more subtle. And I've seen a couple, and they just like slowly go under the water, and they just like it. I can't even put it into words. It just looks
It's
so good. It's just like pushing the water, and it might have a like little click 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 click, but it's nothing like over the top, and they just look so good, especially fishing that around like pads, like fishing it on the outsides of pads or right over like if I don't
exactly
know what kind of like vegetation you guys have, but we have like that those big like cabbage plants that grow up kind of vertical and then like drape like a pine or like a palm tree.
yeah, the
Like if
big
you're fishing in
mats.
5 feet of
Yeah,
water and those come up to like 3 feet, 3.5 feet, and you just fish one of those right above. Oh my gosh, I could just see those baits getting that style of bait getting smashed in those scenarios, or like on an underwater hump.
right
Like
along the edge.
yeah, be crazy.
That's that. I mean, there's really no wrong scenario. If you're in New England and you're not fishing topwater, you're probably doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm going to throw
Hmm.
for the first hour and a half of the day,
Hmm.
every single day
Wow.
that I'm out, and try to make one eat it. And if it doesn't work out, I'm going to switch to something else.
Yeah.
But I mean, lately, like that day that I recently sent Adrian a video of a 6 pounder I caught uh, flipping into like really shallow cover, but I tried to force feed them the wake and they wouldn't eat it. And it turns out the only thing they'd eat was the citizen. And I know I already talked about this before, but if you guys aren't fishing this bait, the 6 inch citizen, this one's kind of murdered.
Is that the
I mean,
goblin
it's
color?
probably got, yeah, this is the goblin. This is first gen goblin, but
Okay.
I mean, I've probably caught 50 to 60 fish on this bait, and I see a lot of guys posting that uh, the tail got bit off, or uh, they can't catch fish on that bait, like it just got destroyed. But I'm here to tell you that that is not true. I mean, Mike's baits hold up really good. Uh, you definitely need to buy some Mend It,
Hmm.
because you'll have to repair it after 7 or 8 fish. But for the most part, I mean, those baits for what you pay to get them are probably the most durable soft bait you can get with the most action you can get.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with the citizens and battle shads has been addressed with the head case harness. I had a couple citizens that I'd blow the
Yeah.
nose out, and a little bit of surgery, cutting up a Senko, remending a new nose into it. Like it's fine. It worked just as normal as it did. Sometimes it would pull out, and I'd have to redo it when I got home. But that's why you have a pack or two, so you have a couple baits to fish from. But now with the head case harness, like I haven't had any problems with it. Maybe there is people out there who accidentally pulled the head harness out or undid the screw or whatever. But if you're kind of if you don't rush it when you're rigging it and stuff, you're not gonna have any problems, I don't think. Or if you're not making willy-nilly casts and bashing the head into docks or bridge pilings or something and smashing that harness inside, then you're not gonna have any issues. Same with
Right.
the tyrant and stuff. That have you gotten to mess with the tyrant? Because that's like
I have
obviously a
not.
wake bait that you can do some stuff with, but
Dude,
interesting to
I
say the
want the
least.
Tyrannate so bad, you don't even know. But I mean, like, I've had so much success with the Citizen Six. I know you're a big fan of the Seven,
Mhm.
and the Seven is I've had a lot of success with, but that's an unpopular opinion. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people don't fish the Seven, and that's a slept on bait for sure.
I've got a 9 that
Um,
I think while we're recording this, I might go fish in the morning. I got called into work last Monday, so I might go make a redemption trip out tomorrow morning. And if I do, I think I'm gonna fish the 9 inch Citizen because I feel it in my loins. I feel good things coming to me if I fish that thing tomorrow.
Dude, the Citizen just gets bit like no other bait. And I mean, anybody that's caught soft bait fish knows that that bite is
Just a boom. Oh my
unreplicable.
gosh, so fun.
Like it's so good. You send that hook home and you bring one in. I sent Adrian a video. This fish I recently posted, it was still swallowing the bait
Yeah.
as it was in my hand.
Oh,
So I mean I couldn't believe it that it was still thinking that it was real prey.
mhm.
But uh obviously I mean it works.
Yeah.
Those, especially the 6 inch. I mean, if you're not fishing the working class Zero 6 inch or any of the 6 inch UFOs, I mean, get your hands on those. That's a great place to start, and it's a great place to build a foundation in swim bait fishing.
Yeah. Now it's kind of like swim bait rods. Like there's so many options out there for 6 inch baits. It's like really less intimidating than it used to be. Like when I got into it, the Savage Shine Glide, you had the Gantrel, Buka
Yep,
made a 6 inch bait at the time, and like maybe the bull shooter and outside. I mean, there was probably other ones as well, but like
or
outside of
HUDs.
those core
HUDs,
couple, like you were
HUDs for
fishing
the
like an eight
first.
inch bait or bigger.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like as far as soft baits go, like um, I definitely started out fishing the Huddleston, but
Yeah,
I mean, if you start out fishing Huddlestons, you know how much it takes to grind on that bait before you
yep,
get bit. Um, can take a long time, especially up here.
yeah.
So, I
I
mean, having an option like that, like when it gets warmer, like that would be a much more viable option because if you throw a Huddleston in the middle of summer, you are not going to get bit like you're going to get bit on a Citizen.
right. You wanna hear my I have not made this public. You wanna hear my unpopular opinion with the Huddleston?
Absolutely.
I'm fishing the 8 inch Huddleston 10 out of 10 times. I'm not messing around with the 6 or the 68 inch anymore. I've had some very
Top
good
hook.
days. Yeah, top hook, jig hook. I'm not cutting it down. I do have one rigged with a stinger behind me because I just want to see what that does. But I caught a couple fish last year that swallowed the 8 inch, and I'm like, well, these are the fish I'm going for. I'm gonna fish these guys over the 6 or the 68 inch. Just my humble opinion. The 68 inch, that tail gets bit off way too much because it's just such a big target for those fish. And the 6 inch, you're gonna be weeding through a lot of fish. So 8 inch is the win in my opinion. I do have a 10 inch one up here that I might fish tomorrow too, but that might be a little too ambitious.
The 10 inch will definitely get bit, but like I don't know. In New England, it's like 8 inches could you could still catch like a 3 pounder on
Oh
an eight
yeah,
inch bait.
100%.
But once you go up to 10, it's like that's it. That's the real
Yeah,
deciphering factor on whether you catch a giant or what or not.
yeah.
But
And that 10
what's
inch
the
Huddleston is
ROF?
big.
Are like I feel like the ROF zero
Hmm.
and the Tyrants with the head case,
Yeah,
like that's the technology we need
yeah.
because that's something fish haven't seen before.
Right. Yeah, that tyrant is such a cool bait.
You have a Tyrant, right?
Yeah, I've got a bottom or I've got a floating and a beast hook style. I haven't fished the beast hook much, and
Oh man.
I haven't caught any fish on the floater, but I've had a couple fish swipe at it. But excuse me, I think they were all small and they weren't, you know, they weren't going to eat the 8 inch bait with that little hook. But that is tomorrow. I'm gonna have the Citizen, the 7 and the 9, the Tyrant, and then maybe like the throwback Metro, that big glide bait, or like the 250 maybe, or and the
Oh,
MDC
the
trout.
Metro. That's a
The
good one.
MDC trout is a killer for me as well. It does not fish like a 10 inch bait.
I've got some. I've got some. Oh wait, the Monster Bass, right?
Oh, the or the ZFG trout. Sorry, ZFG trout. That I don't even
Okay,
know.
I was gonna say MDC is
Yeah,
MDC is a
Mike.
builder up
Yeah, I
here.
was about to
This
say
guy
it's old
Mike.
Mike Donovan. My apologies, Mike. Talking
Yep.
about.
No, he's a good guy.
I
I've
like
got a couple of his baits as
Mike's
well.
rat is my favorite rat ever. That thing is so loud and so obnoxious. It has my heart.
Yeah, that is a great rat. I have a couple of his crank downs and they swim pretty good.
I like his
I'm
trout
gonna take a
glide
second
too.
here.
Oh yes, yes.
I was talking about my son Nixon catching his first swim bait fish. He wants to say hi. Hi.
What's up, man? Do you remember last time you were on many
I
moons ago?
Yes.
Yes, it was a long time ago,
Pretty
wasn't it?
cool. Very long time
Very
ago.
long time
Yep,
ago.
he's about to break his new PB any day now, coming through
Heck yeah,
on
man.
the either the 6-inch UFO or the Toxic Glide. We'll see.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah, dude. It's so awesome.
But yeah, the MDC and MBC mix up happens pretty frequently.
Yeah, it
So
just rolls off the tongue. I don't even know.
it does.
I don't know why I said that, but I do have an MDC trout that I like too. It's got like kind of a choppy like head hunting glide. I fished that thing in the river and I caught a couple smallmouth on it, but I haven't fished it all lately. Maybe I should throw that in there too. Maybe we're talking about it for a reason. Maybe the stars are aligning for me to go fish
Could
it
be.
tomorrow.
Could be. Could be.
Um, we talked about the rods. Like, so last time you were on, you were fishing LDC, but were those like the what were those like the white what is LDC the white label? Was that something that he was making back in the day?
So so the white label and the standard issue are
Like the current ones?
his production rods.
Okay,
So
okay.
I have a couple of his custom rods that he's built like per job, but I also have a lot of his production line. And like I was saying before, Keith Wilson, a lot of you guys know, he's pretty infamous among Mike's stuff. I was able to get my hands on a couple of the standard issues and fish those for a while before they came out. And those are really great rods, along with the white labels. The standard issues are a lot more parabolic. They're a lot more give. They're great for your soft baits. In the extra heavy and the heavier line, but I fish my wake baits on the 8.6 heavy and it keeps fish pinned like no other.
Mm.
It's also great because if you're trying to get on a plane, they break apart in the handle
Yeah, the
like a lot of
ferrule rod.
JDM rods,
Yep.
and you can take them on planes. So definitely something to consider if you're in the market for a new swim bait rod. But all of his rods are super great. His customer service is bar none the best I've ever experienced. I've been with him since day one, and he's always taken care of me.
Mm.
So if you're thinking about committing to this niche of swim baiting and you're looking to get a rod for your first rod, that's money well spent, and you won't regret it if you go with Lowdown Customs.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. What are I cannot remember. Are you a Daiwa guy?
I have equal parts Shimano and equal parts Daiwa, which is definitely an unpopular standpoint in this
Yeah.
community, but I have a Calcutta 400, a Calcutta 300, and then the rest of my rods are all lined up with Tatuas besides one old school TEDC 200,
Mm.
which it's a 511, and I throw that for my soft baits. It's a great reel. It's definitely been through hell and it still works. Um, but I'm a big fan of Shimano. I'm a big fan of the Calcuttas, and I actually recently picked up a Curado 300,
Mm.
and I've been throwing that. But I think I made a mistake by buying the really slow gear ratio.
Is that the five like two to
Um,
one or something, or the 5-1 to 1? Oh no, it's like a
it's like a
4-3 to 1.
4.6.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like a four, yeah, something like that. But man, it is slow. It gets it done, but you definitely have to crank.
yeah. That's probably
Um,
only like 16 inches per crank or something crazy like that. However they figure that out, it can't be more than like 22
it's
inches
very
per
slow.
crank. Yeah.
I would say the perfect gear ratio for soft base is like 5 to 1.
Hmm.
Um, the Calcutta, the DC that I have, that one is it's similar to like the DCHG in
Hmm.
profile, but it's a much slower ratio. So
Right.
it's in the 5 speeds, and that is my go-to soft bait reel. It works so good.
Mm.
Uh,
What,
uh,
have you?
Unfortunately, the last time that I brought it out, um, I was fishing at a lake for a couple of days and I closed my guide to my rod in my rod locker and busted that off. And then I lost the level wind guide.
Mm,
So like the little piece that goes in the level
yep.
wind, it like came off on my line. Um, and that's discontinued. So I don't know what I'm going to do there, but
Go figure.
either way, solid choice.
Yeah. Do you like that Corrado 300? Because I know guys who get the 300 Corrado and they jump ship and they go to the Tatula 300 for whatever reason. I don't know. I haven't done it personally, but I know that the Tatula 300, more guys prefer that over the Corrado. So I guess you probably haven't given it a fair shakedown since you got the slow one and you might not fish it all the
I
time. But
would
what are your
say
thoughts so far?
I would say the Corrado is more mechanically bulletproof
Mm,
than the Tatua. I've definitely had some issues with the Tatua 300. I've bent out handles on the Tatua, and I've even broken a drag star recently on the
wow.
Tatua, because that's plastic versus metal.
Yeah.
But the Shimano seems more mechanically inclined to handle more abuse. But the Tatua definitely outperforms the Shimano
Yeah.
as far as the 300 size reel goes. But if you upgrade to a Calcutta, I mean, you can't get a better reel.
Hmm.
The Calcutta 300 and 400 is the best reel that's made for swim baiting. Straight
Yeah.
up.
Right, right.
Can't beat it.
Yeah, I mean, it's become such a popular reel. Everybody's fishing the Calcuttas and the Conquest or the Calcuttas and stuff like that. I feel like all you ever see is either Calcuttas or it's Tatulas. Like that's back and forth. That's what you see a huge majority of guys fishing.
I have a lot of people hit me up on what their first setup should be, whether they're like, an amateur fisherman that wants to get into throwing big baits on the weekends or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. But I always recommend the Tattoo 300 just because it's such an affordable reel to get into.
Yep.
And I mean, even though you might see problems with it, I mean, you can beat that thing up and not see problems for at least a few seasons.
Hmm. Yeah, and the conclusion with the Daiwa stuff is it feels a little more gritty and mechanical, but it breaks in smoother. Whereas it's a common shared thought that a lot of the Shimano stuff comes over grease, so it feels smooth out of the box, and then it gets super gritty and mechanical after a couple seasons. Like the Corrado 200 I have, dude, it's probably the fish probably run away because they think it's forward facing sonar because that thing is so loud and it just when I'm reeling it in. Like
Is it a is it a DC or is it
no, it's just a normal 200 Corrado. Like it's an HG.
yeah.
I've dropped that thing in the river and in the sand, and I've had it for many, many moons, and it's fished every. I mean, dude, I won't lie. I fished the K9 with it. I fished the 250. I fished the 8-inch Huddleston. Like it fishes everything I
Yeah,
have
it can
completely
handle all that.
fine. What'd you say?
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. I think like unless you're planning on going out for multiple trips and respooling, a 200 size reel does the job. I mean, you can fish the Tatua or the Corrado like the 200 size, it will get it done, but you're just going to have to expect to reline that reel very frequently.
Yeah. Yeah. It.
I mean, the Corrado, like the 300, it's peace of mind in the fact that like you're getting that amount of reel turn
Mhm.
per inch as the fish is seeing
Yeah.
versus the 200, like once you cut that bait off and you retie it, it's probably not going to be the same ratio that you're seeing when it's back at the boat.
Hmm. Yeah. It's interesting. The whole like real debate stuff and like diving down into reels and like the performance, like if you fish a Corrado 400, how much line that's picking up at the beginning of the cast relative to at the end, like you were just saying, like it differs so much throughout the whole thing, and it's crazy to think about, and it's something that's often overlooked, and we've talked about it a couple times before, but like guys will go deep dives and fish every single reel out there and just find one that is just okay enough. Like there's for some guys, there's not a perfect reel out there. I know multiple guys who are have not been sold on a reel, whether it's made in here or whether it's made here in Indonesia. Like there's no reel that satisfies all their needs. So they just picks the best one and they just run it until maybe somebody comes out with a new reel and they'll try it. Like different strokes for different folks, and if you can find something that works for you, but it may not work for me or may not work for somebody else, then why does my opinion matter? Because you're getting the job done, so don't listen to me at all.
Absolutely. I mean, whether it's, some casting or whatever it is, I mean, like, just get out there and go throw a bobber in the water and
Yep.
catch the same fish. It really doesn't matter. I mean, like, especially with kids, like, if you have a kid and you're interested in getting into fishing, I mean, it doesn't matter what you're throwing. Go out there and throw a worm and have them catch fish and get hooked on it, and then spread that joy through the rest of their generations. I mean, get people pumped on it. I mean, if people don't keep doing it, then the sport will die and it won't be the same as it is for all of us today. And it's important that we just keep it going. So no matter what it is that makes you have fun, just go do it, get what you can afford, and go have fun.
Heck yeah, dude. I can't
That's the
think.
best piece of advice I have.
Yeah, exactly. I can't think of a better way to wrap it up, man. We'd never actually, I guess we said it at the beginning. What's the Instagram for people who want to follow you, who don't, who maybe didn't listen to episode 44 and are just now stumbling upon you and
For
your
sure.
page and stuff? Where can they follow you?
So my personal Instagram is at Lone Wolves. My barbershop Instagram for anybody that's definitely curious on my life is at Black Door Barber Co. But definitely give me a follow at Lone Wolves, and I'll follow you back.
Heck yeah, dude. Um, don't know YouTube or anything, I don't think, right?
I don't do YouTube, but I definitely do want to take a second to shout out Eric at UFO. He's always taken care of me and given me the best baits I could ever imagine. Mike Gilbert, obviously at Working Class Zero, he's always taking good care of me and giving me the opportunity to do some really cool stuff with his baits and get some cool footage, some good catches. And then Ben at Load Customs, my number one rod company, always taking care of me and the best customer service you'll get in the game. So all those dudes. And thank you for having me on tonight because it's a huge deal. I definitely am super humbled to be in the mix of all these dudes that are the people that I've looked up to in this community and happy to be here. So thanks for having me on and hearing what I have to say.
Oh, for sure, man. It's been too long. I'm glad we got you back on. I'm glad we got to catch up on good old times, good stories, and maybe the bad stories too. R.I.P. to the well, I guess not R.I.P. to the truck because you said it did get fixed in that story. So that is good news with that. And
For
R.I.P.
sure.
to the kayak and the old tracker because those are long gone, but you're still catching fish. So and you're off the bank too,
For
so you
sure.
can't really complain about that, man.
And if anybody wants the exclusive content that I post, you can just hit up Adrian because he has videos of me shirtless boat flipping 6+ bass. So
Well, heck yeah, man. Outside of that, guys, as always, I'll put all of his well, I guess the Instagram and stuff in the show notes. You guys can go follow him if you're not already. And if you haven't, once you guys listen to this episode, if you didn't listen to episode 144, I re-listened to a little bit of it today, dude. Holy crap, it sounded like I was talking into a potato. Maybe it's not any better quality
come
now.
a
Maybe
long
I just think
ways.
it's better, but I'm like, wow, the show has come a long ways, and all I can thank is you guys for listening, for keeping the passion and the ambition alive to continue Scales and Tails and to continue to make it as best as I can and always improving it. So, as always, man, thank you for coming on. I hope you enjoyed. Go follow him if you guys don't. Lone Wolves on the Instagrams, and hopefully, maybe someday, maybe this year, you'll decide to break in the YouTube scene. And if that is the case, I'll always promote you when if you do decide to do YouTube, dude, because it's I don't know. I feel like there's never enough videos to watch. You just mentioned that you listen to every single bass fishing podcast, and I know people watch every single bass fishing video out there. So kind of I don't know. I don't feel the need to gatekeep YouTube. I feel like if you're making videos, there's going to be people that watch them. So if you do decide to do that, man, don't worry. I will be the number one subscriber and I will watch every single video you put out, dude.
If anything, go buy an S&T zine and support Adrian. I mean, that's the number one plug to our community, and he's promoted a platform that didn't exist before. So go support that. I mean, quality is hard to come by these days. So even if it's at a price point that you're not used to for a magazine, the quality is there and you're going to get content that you're hearing now. So if you're intrigued by this sport and you're trying to get into it, there's really no better informational standpoint than what he's offering out there, and his YouTube and his bait reviews. They're all such a huge staple for our community and what we're doing. So definitely support him and provide anything you can to that platform.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. It always means a lot
Yeah, of course.
when people appreciate what goes into Scales and Tails. I appreciate all the messages I get. I appreciate all the orders, whether it's just a sticker or a magazine or whatever else it may be, or just a listen. I always appreciate all the support, guys. But as always, I'll have all Kieran's stuff in the show notes. You guys can go follow him. As always, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys next week. See you guys.